Hi, this is Brian Whitaker at Wits End Ranch, and today I'm going to be doing something different. Maybe you've seen my videos, but this time I'm going to be doing what I think they call it a podcast. Today, my first podcast is going to be about these recalls that I received. Anybody can receive them. And I'll put links in the description for both the federal food recalls and the Minnesota recalls. I'm sure every state has their own. The purpose of this is just to inform, not to try to make people worried or scared or anything like that. That's not what I'm about. But when I first signed up for these emails, I was really shocked of how often there's a recall and how little I see it like in a lot of the main news source. So this most recent one is from yesterday. It's actually not quite a recall. They call it a public health alert. And a lot of these I just find fascinating what happens in our food system. It's a recall from Ciliforms. I'm not doing that name justice. I actually did listen to the pronunciation for several times. I do a little research before this. They were illegally imported, it says, from the People's Republic of China, so China, and are ineligible for entry into the United States. What I found out about this food product is it's basically a fish. It's, I think, a form of catfish. This is the 12-ounce plastic packages containing, quote, frozen stripe Pangasius maws. I actually looked up that stripe Pangasius maws. It's really hard to find any information. I don't know why. I just could not find much information. It gave conflicting information, but it is a fish product. It says the products subject to the public health alert do not bear any producing establishment information or import marks on the labels and are packed in plain white shipping cartons devoid of labels or markings. These items are believed to have been shipped to retail and wholesale locations in New York and Pennsylvania, and the surprising one to me was Oklahoma as well. I could see kind of on the East Coast there, but then Oklahoma was. It said somewhere in there, I read it about they're trying to get to the bottom of it, they meaning the U.S. government, USDA, of how this even got through our customs. And it is quite a mystery. It does give some pictures of this packaging of the food. It's a strange looking food. That's my opinion. I don't even know how to describe it. Maybe a meat that's starting to go rancid, like a beef or something, but I'm sure it's great food. But obviously don't eat this. If you have it, take it back, get your money back. It's not supposed to be out for consumption, for buying. That's just from yesterday. And side note, I was reading the packaging label. I think a serving size is roughly 4 ounce, so a quarter of a pound or so. It had 98% of your total recommended cholesterol. I found that shocking for a fish product. I could not believe that. So anyway, I hope to find this helpful. Do go and sign up for these alerts, for these recalls. Again, not to bring fear, but just information. Helpful information on an everyday, daily basis. Perhaps you're like me and thought, these recalls don't really affect me. A lot of the food I get is a little bit, a lot of it's grown here where I grow it for the beef. And now the eggs, soon again, we'll have eggs. But they do also do pet food recalls, I've found. And I actually was affected by this recall on pet food from last summer. And I saw the recall and I didn't quite pay attention to it until my dog actually was eating the product. But actually, by the time they fully got a recall, this is what's a little frustrating. I bought the product in about August. I think the first recall I saw was maybe September, for sure October, and then beyond. And they kept expanding the recall, and that's another frustration too. And I realized, oh, this is exactly the food I got him. Now he was just about done with it anyway. They were finding that some babies and infants and things like that were getting sick, and they thought maybe it was from exposure to this dog food, maybe cat food as well, that had salmonella. So these things can affect you. I actually ended up getting my money back. It was a bit of a process, but I did. So I encourage you to sign up for these recalls. I hope things are well where you're at, and thank you for listening to my first podcast, Trails of Happiness.